4 pages long, single space, typed with like the old school typewriter. And it basically said, oh, Spencer's okay, but his parents are fucked. They didn't share that with me either. I had to find out too late. Okay. Everybody having fun? I don't know. I feel weird telling stories. But... All right. Worse.
I must prefer.
Really? I'm learning a lot about you today. Very nice. We'll exchange numbers.
He's so excited.
Well, early one morning while making the round, took a shot of cocaine and I shot my woman down. Got her down, I went to bed. I shot that loving 44 beneath my head. Woke up next morning, I grabbed that gun. Took a shot of cocaine and away did I run. Way I run, but I run too slow. They overtook me down in Juarez, Mexico. Up on that high joint, taking the pill. Then walks the sheriff from Jericho. He said, your legal name is not Jack Brown. You're the dirty shot that shot your woman down. Yes, sir, my name is Willie Lee. You got a warrant, you better read it to me. I shot her down because she made me slow. I thought I was her daddy, but she had 5 more. When I was arrested, I was dressed in black. Put me on a train, honey, they hauled me back. I had no money to go my bail, and I shoved that drug up, I could sit that county jail. That's my throat out.
I want to offer him a lozenge. It'd probably be hard to use the harmonica though.
Early next morning, about 9:30, I saw the sheriff coming down the line. The sheriff caught Spenny, cleared his throat, take on me dirty, acting to that district court. Into the courtroom, my trial began, and I was judged by 12 on his bench. Just when the jury started, I saw that little judge to go out. In about 5 minutes, it walked a man, holding the verdict in his right hand. The verdict read in the first degree, and I shouted, Lordy, Lordy. I'm not shouting that, please have mercy on me. The judge just smiled, man, and picked up his pen. 99 years in that old kitchen pen. 99 years underneath the ground, and I can't forget the day I shot my woman down. For all you hogs out there, listen to me. Lay off that whiskey, son, and let that cocaine be. All right, don't play the Coke song when you have a bad throat. Let's try to remember that for next time.
It sounded really good.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. So, I mentioned my cousin Marjorie. Did I talk about that? Her writing on Seinfeld?
Yep.
I did, okay. So, when I was a kid, I went to Crescent School, which was a waspy, we had money, right? So, that was, oh, it's pouring now. Anyways, yeah, it's a monsoon. And the school was like a private school. There were no girls. You had to wear like gray flannel pants, a white shirt, a tie, and some kind of green or brown jacket every day. I fucking hated it. And I was like one of 2 Jews in the whole school. Thank you. So I experienced a little bit of anti-Semitism, not too much though. And I hated the fucking place. So we finally, what really pissed me off about the school was that because I had all this exposure to the show business stuff, my whole sense of humor was developing and all that, but the kids at the school, they had no idea what I was talking about. They didn't know what Saturday Night Live was. They didn't know what Johnny Carson was. And that was what I like to talk about. So my parents transferred me to Forest Hill, which is a predominantly Jewish school, not like, you know, it's a regular school, it's a public school, but it's in a Jewish neighborhood, so there were lots of Jews. And then my personality kind of blossomed there for some reason. So, and the other thing was, there was no girls my whole life going through school till grade 7 or 8. Holy fuck, was that a change, having women, it was fantastic. Oh, it was unbelievable. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I guess I knew it existed, but I never fucking thought of it. Hey, Sam. Hey. How are you?
How you doing, buddy?
My throat's sore. I should do the shutter. So that was, you know, a great thing. By the way, Drake went to that school. Lorne Michaels. You guys know who Lorne Michaels is? Okay, see, I don't know. The Kenny versus Spenny fans, most of them, they don't know fucking shit about anything. They just go, fuck you, Spenny! That's what they know. No, I know. I said not everyone. I'm very careful. I leave myself wiggle room. And did a lot of drugs. A lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol. Again, I was really predisposed because of my parents. I didn't have a fucking chance. Acid, heroin, you name it, you know. There's some new drugs I haven't done, the kids are doing now. LMB, you know, I don't know.
Rocket Hill.
What's it called?
Rocket Hill.
Rocket Hill, I don't know.
Rocket Hill, it's from Russia or something. They're eating each other's faces.
Well, let me just say that drugs are a dead end, especially doing them at the level that I was doing it. I got, twice I was hospitalized for poisoning myself with alcohol from drinking, which is crazy. We used to drink shots, and we had a pitcher of water, shot, and you'd get so fucking fucked up. And it was awful, really. I don't know why I enjoyed it, but I did. Heroin was another thing. That's exactly what they tell you it is. Don't do it. I remember I was on acid, and I went to O'Keefe Center. It used to be called the O'Keefe Center, and it was the Beatles, you know, that stage show where it was guys that looked like them. Beatlemania. And I had a complete and utter meltdown during the psychedelic section. I had never hallucinated like that in my fucking life. It was unbelievable. And I was on acid, and I saw the movie Foul Play with Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn. And there was that scene where the old Asian guy ends up in the limo with them, and they're driving like crazy, and he keeps going, contact, bang, bang! I almost pissed myself in the theater. They asked me to leave. Anyways, these are not highlights of my life, but they're mildly funny, I guess, on some level. And you know, the great thing about all of it is that I'm still alive. That's one of the great things. And
I feel like other than the rich
I was,
family, you guys can relate.
I once went to an AA meeting because I was convinced, and my shrink told me, I think you have an addiction problem. And I go to the AA meeting, and guys are sharing stories about like killing people and running them over. It's like, okay, I think I'll be fine. And, you know, I was just an idiot, rich kid, fucking doof bag, whatever. But that was that. It is a dead end, I have to say that. Want another song? You like Dylan? Yeah, you know, I'm at that age now where it's like, the Beatles were they, you know? Huh? Well, you know what? This is gonna fucking suck with my voice. I just feel like I've never ever had a throat like this when I have to perform. Should I try it? And I'll never stop it, but if it's so horrible, I will stop it. Never, you're not supposed to do that. You must take what you need, you think will last. Whatever you get to keep it, you better grab it fast. Yonder comes an orphan with his gun. He's crying like a fire in the sun. Look out, mama, the saints are calling you. It's all over now, baby blue. Yeah, the highway is for gamblers, never lose your sense. Take what you have gathered, coincidence. Jealous-handed paper on your street, drawing crazy patterns on your sheet. It's got to end rolling over you. It's all over now, baby.
Wait.
Yeah, well, all you seasick sailors, they're all going home. All your reindeer armies, they're all going home.
I mean, I don't know what he sounds like normally, but I think it sounds, the raspy sounds
The
good.
lover who has just walked out your door is stolen all the blankets from your floor. Coming to and rolling over you. It's all over now, baby. That's unbelievable. Thank you. I can't. I should do like a Tom Waits tribute tonight. I got the voice for it tonight. Fuck me. Anyway. You're not throwing tomatoes. 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 So my parents, not surprisingly, split up. My mother, they hadn't divorced yet, but my mother fell in love with this guy, Jeff Cooper. Jeff Cooper was originally from Hamilton. He was a male model, gorgeous guy, big, huge muscles, covered in tattoos, exact opposite of my dad. And he actually was kind of famous because he was living in California, and my mom inherited a sizable amount of money when my grandfather died. And she went to California, and in 10 years just blew it all. Which is why I'm here working tonight, when I think about it. But I got to be part of it, and I'll tell you some stories about that. But Jeff became famous in Mexico, because he did a movie called The Cali Man, which was a superhero movie. And he was a Mexican superhero. You can look it up, it's like the Superman of Mexico. But he lived in LA, he was from Hamilton. He was a really cool guy, actually. And Jeff, so my mom moves there and hooks up with Jeff, and Jeff's best friend, literally his best friend in the world, is David Carradine. You guys know him? From Kung Fu? Death Race 2000. That's you are a nerd. You're a bigger nerd than me. You're a bigger nerd than me. Yeah, amazing. It was that a Roger Corman phone too. Anyways, if you don't know anything about David Carradine, he made Keith Richards look like a choir boy, and I'm not even joking. He was a rebel. He spent his father was John Carradine. It's a sort of royal Hollywood family. John Carradine was in like a million movies. He was a character actor, and he did some horror movies too. And David was in, what do they call it, juvie? He spent his whole childhood in juvie because he was such a hellraiser. And then he sort of straightened out, I wouldn't say that, but he became an actor. The time I got to meet him, when I would go visit my mom in California, was he was married to a woman also covered in tattoos. David was like, he had the Prince Charles thing, you know? Do you know what that is? Prince Charles, it's like a, you do know? Okay, that's why she's still got. It's like basically piercing your penis for jewelry. He was just hardcore. His house was always filled with like Hell's Angels, like serious fucking people and drugs. And he had one room with like 36 guitars in it. And he liked me. He had to be kind of nice to me because his best friend was fucking my mother. There's no other way to say it. Yeah, that's how we all got here. Everybody calm down. So I got to hang out with him, and he was just, I mean, he drove us, he had hair down to here at the time. He was a complete and total alcoholic and a weed smoker like I've never met since. He lived here for a while because they did Kung Fu Returns, right? And it was shot, I think, in Mississauga. So there's all kinds of Toronto stories about David running wild. Anyways, the weird thing was his wife, they were swingers, of course. And his wife wanted to have sex with me. I was like 16 years old, and I was so scared of her, I can't even tell you. She had been with like, Roger McGuinn of the Birds and David Carradine, and I'm this little schmuck Jew from Toronto, and she's covered in tattoos. She would have fucked me to death. No, I was literally, I'll admit it, I was afraid for my life. But that's it, and the funny thing is, when I first met Jeff, the guy my mom ran away with, he was Dr. Elby on Dallas. Which, I don't know, you remember Dallas? Do you remember Who Shot JR? That was like the biggest thing on television. And Jeff had this slightly reoccurring role where he was Dr. Elby Sewell, psychiatrist. So he was the one that they found out who shot JR. So, he was a character actor. He was never, other than the Mexico thing, he was a... Anyways, where am I going with this? My point is that all my friends, they went to like camp in Northern Ontario. The Jews I know went to Florida. It was like LA didn't exist in the milieu I grew up in. And because my mom took off there, I got to go visit there. And it was the greatest thing ever for me. It was like, okay, you want to get divorced? This is fantastic. I would wander around the studios sometimes because she had friends that were in on it. And like I saw Johnny Carson's The Tonight Show set, he wasn't there. I smoked hash with Scatman Crothers. Do you know him? No. Scatman was, he's an old black bald guy, and he played the ukulele, but he acted in some amazing, he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and The Shining. He was the bodyguard. Anyways. So it's just I'm not bragging, this is what happened. It's remarkable to me that I got to have these experiences. I feel very lucky. So that was the first time I ever went to LA. I ended up going back with Kenny when we were trying to sell Kenny versus Spenny. And that's a whole other story, which I'll tell you in a bit. It's awesome.
I'm a huge Kenny. It's nice seeing you outside.
Well, Kenny versus Spenny.
No, it's nice seeing you.
What? I appreciate it. It's nice seeing you.
It's nice seeing you outside of the show and being Spenny.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Thank you. I love the blues. That's my favorite kind of music. Probably the least commercial music that you possibly play these days. Then I had to come back with Stevie Ray Vaughan and stuff, but these are the decisions that I make, and I don't regret them. People always ask me, who's your favorite blues artist? And I tell them Lightning Hopkins. If you don't know Lightning Hopkins, there's a movie about him called The World According to Lightning Hopkins. And one day when we get the show together, we'll have his picture up on there. you can see him or maybe hear him play. So, having said that, I'd like to play you a Lightning Hopkins tune. And actually, my voice might work because he had a really deep voice. He used to play the guitar 2 stops down because his voice was so low. But it might not work, so let's not get too excited. Katie May, she's a good girl. She don't run around at night. Yeah, Katie May, she's a good girl. She don't run around at night. Yeah, you bet your bottom dollar right. Katie May will treat you right. That woman everything in the world she needs. Yeah, my woman don't do nothing but help me to get her breathe. You know, she walks just like her. She got oil wells in her backyard.
That is done there?
Oh, yeah.
You're banana crying. What about the times being hard? Goodbye, Katie May. Honey, that's all I got to say. Yeah, goodbye, Katie May. That's all I got to say. I'll see you sometime tomorrow night. See you sometime the next day. Check out that movie. I know nobody will remember, but it's called The Blues According to Lightning Hopkins. I think it was filmed by a Canadian guy. And it's just him and his buddy wasted in rural Texas playing music on the streets. And it's incredible how good that guy was and everything. I got to see him live, which was incredible. I saw Lightning Hopkins at the Hollywood Palladium in LA. He was very old and he was playing with a band and I liked more of the solo stuff. But it was fucking amazing. Anyways, does anybody care? I don't know. I can't tell any. I'm so excited by the blues and these great artists and I have to share it. I don't even care if you don't know what I'm talking about. So anyways, so that was that first time in LA when my mom moved there, and then I met Kenny. No, I shouldn't say that. I've known Kenny my whole life, but Kenny and I started to work together, and we produced a few short films, and then we did a documentary called Pitch, which I think is in one of the DVDs of one of the seasons of our show. And we got to a point where it was just, we gotta go to LA. We're just not it's not gonna happen here. So we got a phone call one day from Will Smith's, a guy who works for Will Smith, Big David talked to him, and Will had a production company called Overbrook Entertainment. And he'd seen that movie we did called Pitch. He said, you guys would be great for television, because we're in the movie. And so we never thought we'd be on camera, but we did this documentary where we were. So they gave us $40,000. It's called a development deal. We each took $20,000, and this is unbelievable. I lost my 20 grand at Vegas before we went to LA. Lost it. It's fucking unbelievable. Roulette, not a good game. Not a good game. And you know,
Actually, no, that would be thumbsy.
Kenny split his money with them, but then we were really under the gun to do something because we didn't have that much money, and you know, we didn't even have green cards and stuff like that at the time. We were there illegally. We ended up getting a visa, so it was all good. But we pitched, the Wells Company wanted us to create 4 shows, and then we'd go into pitch meetings all over, you know, every studio there is, every TV company there is, and we pitch these shows, and hopefully, and every meeting was fucking good. We would high five afterwards. Oh, we're gonna make it, no way, you know. And no one ever picked it up except for the worst pitch meeting we had. And we pitched a guy named Stephen Chong, an Asian guy who didn't smile once during the pitch. He looked at us and just stared at us. And they're the ones that you know, ponied up, and we got to do a pilot. So we started filming the pilot, which I think is on one of the DVDs, excuse me. And the pilot is, anyways, yeah, they gave more weight. And it was US, right? They didn't give a, in the US, like in Canada, they left us alone. And we made a great show. In the US, it's just like what you hear about, the executives are calling and they're pitching you notes. And it was like they thought we were doing Spy versus Spy. For those of you that are old enough to remember. Yeah, Mad Magazine. So it'd be like Kenny comes at me with, you know, 2 pit bulls. Spenny's gonna come back with 3 pit bulls, which is nothing what we were doing. We were doing something very honest based on our characters. So they pulled the plug on us when we wouldn't listen to them. But we finished the pilot, and we sort of, you know, slept on couches and tried to get by for about a year before we got the phone call from a guy named John Moranis, who was in LA working for Alliance Atlantis. And he saw the pilot, and I don't know if you've seen the pilot. I projectile vomit, and that is like legend. He sold it to CBC, and here I am. It's quite the journey, believe me. So that was you know, that was kind of the thing. But for that year, where we didn't know what was happening, Kenny is, of course, he figured out a way to scam the telemarketers or market research companies. He'd say he was rich, and they pay him a lot of money to fill out these forms. He's unbelievable. I, like a schmuck, had to work at the farmers markets. There was one in Santa Monica and one in Venice, and I worked for an avocado farmer who made his own guacamole. You could buy the avocados from him, but he was making more money if he sold. So I conned him into, or conned him, he was just a nice guy. He was a farmer, old guy, and he thought I was funny. I said, well, why don't I sample your guacamole? And if they like it, I'll show them where to go, and they'll hopefully go buy it. And he said, okay, and he gave me like a percentage of the sales. So I wore a sombrero. I called myself Kid Guac. I stood at this busy farmer's market, and I would get people to, you know, try it. And it was working out. He was happy, he hired me, he was doing better. I got to make some money, because you couldn't work legally there if you didn't have a visa or a green card. And at that point, it didn't happen yet. So one day I'm doing my shtick, and I'm telling jokes. I'm kind of doing almost stand-up in the middle of the farmer's market, trying to get people, you know, there's no deceit in this guacamole, stuff like that. And one day some guy stops and he's staring at the guacamole. And I'm looking at him, I go, fuck, that's Steven Spielberg. And it was. Because they all live out there, they work, right? It's a normal thing. So he's looking, doesn't even look at me, he's looking at the guacamole and he goes, I gots to know. Right, he has to know it. But do you know what I gots to know is from? Dirty Harry. And I'm such a nerd that I knew that. And I went, Dirty Harry. And Spielberg looked at me and goes, you're good. And then he walked away and bought guacamole. And I'm playing in London, Ontario with Scott's Stories. But this is also a true story. We're always thinking about how do you do a publicity stunt or some kind of stunt to get attention in a city like LA so that maybe we could get a show picked up. And remember, this was before USA Network had it. It was also in between the time when we didn't know CBC was going to buy it. And I had an idea, and I was serious about it. And even Kenny said, "You are fucked." Because Steven Spielberg's mother had an Orthodox Jewish restaurant. And she was always there, and she was the sweetest lady, and you go in, you can chat with her, you know, she's just nice. I guess Steven brought her to this restaurant. So I had an idea that let's kidnap Steven Spielberg's mother. We won't do anything bad. We'll treat her like absolute, you know, better than anyone's ever treated her before. And Steven will find out about it, maybe we can get a movie out of him or something. It's so stupid. That's how crazy things were back then. But luckily, I didn't do that because it probably was the worst idea I've ever had. Yeah, I'd probably still be doing time. I believed I could talk my way out of it with Steven. I was the guy, the theater guy, don't you remember? We love your mom. We were just trying to get your attention. Anyways, no, it could have worked. You never know. And that was, yeah, so I was living in Venice at one point, and it's sort of a pretty rough neighborhood. And like, I'd be sleeping and you just hear gunfire outside. That became like normal. It was really an interesting time for both of us. And led to Kenny versus Spenny, which changed my life for sure. All right, let me do a song. Are you guys enjoying yourselves? I really. How much do you guys pay to see me? Oh, so who gives a shit?
You want a drink?
You know what? I might get just a beer, whatever beer I had. It was
Put it on my tab.
He's buying drinks for everybody. What? No, I'm joking. It's very kind. Thank you so much. I have to look at my song list because of my voice. There's a lot of songs I just cannot play, and I apologize. You know, if I'm back here one time, I'll come and do another show for free just to make up for this fucking thing. What? It's beer, right? Only beer. So there. What did I have at the restaurant?
Was he not just talking about AA? Was he not just talking about AA?
Yeah.
Should he be having a beer?
All right, this is a song by Willie Dixon. He's probably the greatest blues songwriter, or one of the greatest. I actually met him. He's a gorgeous, big black guy. He had on a white suit and a white fedora. He was, what did the kids say? What did the kids say? Okay. You're all old fucks like me. You say it sometimes. When something's really cool, you say, unbelievable. How do you disappoint me? Yeah. Sick. It was sick. It was sick. Back in my day, sick meant you weren't feeling well. Spoonful of diamonds, might be a spoonful of gold. Yeah, a spoon of your precious love down the road, satisfy my soul. Folks are lying about it, some folks crying about it, some folks dying.
I can't see that one.
That spoon dance, booty dance, beautiful dance, booty dance. Yeah, got this spoon full of water, save you from a desert sand. Yeah, just a spoon of this 45. This mama's gonna save you from another man. The folks are lying about it. The folks crying about it. The folks are dying about it. That spoon, that spoon, that spoon, that spoon, that spoon. There it is. I got married again. Oh, sorry. I'm reading my notes. I got married for the first time when I lived in LA. To a girl that Kenny says looks like Danny DeVito in a wig, so I had to put that in there. I went through, had twins with her, and then the worst experience of my life, which was the divorce in a California family court. It was fucking brutal. I had lawyers shaking me down like The Sopranos. Where's our fucking money? It was their lawyers. 15. 15. I'm bad with everything. So that was a horrible situation, and then Kenny versus Spenny landed. So I was going through all this shit and doing that fucking stupid show, which I love and changed my life, but I think it's hilarious. But I was going back and forth on the red eye all the time. And we had heard stories that Matt and Trey from South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, were fans of Kenny versus Spenny. And I think I was fucking up the orders of these stories. But anyways, I never believed it. Kenny didn't believe it. But a guy named Kyle McCullough worked for them, and that's who told Kenny this. So I go to the airport one day, and I'm flying back to Toronto, and this guy who I didn't know, the McCullough, came up to me and said, "Hey, Spenny, how are you? The boys are here." I'm like, "What? Who? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Matt and Trey." You know, and they're like in a private lounge for rich flyers. And, but they ended up coming down, and they hugged me. They actually did like the show. It was unfucking believable. I remember asking Matt Stone, I said, I've always wondered where you came up with the name Lemmy Winks for the, I don't know if you know that, the hamster in the teacher's ass. Yeah. So the hamster's name was Lemmy Winks. And I remember asking Matt, and this is what he said. I don't know.
That was Mr. Slave.
Mr. Slave, yes. And so basically we fly back there in first class, I'm in economy, and they say, "You need to lift anywhere," and I get into a limo, so he said, "Why don't you come for a drink at the hotel?" So they're staying at the Windsor Arms, I think, near Young and Bloor, beautiful hotel, where I proceed to get so fucking drunk and belligerent in front of them that I can't even, it all started when they badmouthed Everybody Loved Raymond, and I just went, I fucking lost it. I called them snobs and but it ended up at the Drake Hotel, and I got thrown out, and I shoved over the table with all the drinks in front of them. And to this day, we still argue about it because I think that's why they ended up working with Kenny versus Spenny. They did season 4. I don't know if you know that they executive produced season 4 of Kenny versus Spenny. We were on Comedy Central. I think if that didn't happen, I don't know if they would have worked with us. And Kenny's argument is, "Oh my God, you almost blew it! Oh, you're fucking crazy, you moron!" And then he always has to have credit for everything. So I don't really know to this day what the truth is.
No matter what the outcome, you've got to work with them. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, the outcome was reasonably good. That's a whole other story if I ever do like a full-on show business storytelling about that year we had with them. It was crazy, but I made a lot of money, so that was good. They were pricks, but they're brilliant. What they do. South Park is just fucking genius shit. Kenny versus Spenny, I don't know what to say at this point. We still tour. We do live tours. We've been doing it for 8 years now. People come, we sell out houses. We're just so grateful, and we can't believe that we have the audience that we have, and they come to our shows. It's just really been a wonderful blessing that I'm very grateful for. It's odd to say that about something where I'm like, shit in a diaper and have to keep it there for 3 days.
Where's the right back?
The what?
Where's your right back?
It's in East Smithsonian, beside Archie Bunker's. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
The Enola Gay. Nice reference.
It's been so long since I've watched it. I used to
You could do a show like this, honestly. Well, maybe you couldn't. And I was joking. But anyways.
Just tell he's trying
I'm joking about my joke. And that's basically what I do now. So I go around, I play music. This guy here, Derek, had the idea of doing a kind of one-man show where I tell stories and play music, and this is sort of the inception of what I'm doing. And before I go, I'd like to play that guitar there, which everybody annoyingly calls me. It's the Dire Straits guitar. No, it's not a dobro. I'm losing respect for you by the minute. Just maybe keep your mouth shut. Okay, I love you. It's called the Resonator. Dobros they're wood with the resonator. This is a fully steel guitar. So I'm gonna have to take a minute and readjust and play it because I can't play it standing up because I'm old and it weighs like a billion pounds. Yeah, and that was the guitar before electric guitars. That was the guitar like blues guys used to use to play loud. This is a pretty quiet place to make, but clubs, juke joints they were called. And this kind of guitar could get over the hue of the people talking. So that's it. So just give me a minute, and I'll take a little break, I guess, and get this set up. Okay?
Woo! How do I turn it around?
Well, you can't hold it vertical.
Oh, okay. How do I turn it around?
I don't know anything there. I was just recording it for future content.
I don't know. I want to turn it around. Is anybody there?
This one's so falsy.
You shut your face. Hi. I'm not used to apples. Why is it so backwards?
It's not.
It's all inverted.
Oh, that's the app. It's not an apple. No, it's mirrored.
Is that not the same thing that I just said? Inverted and mirrored? Isn't that the same thing? Oh, is he starting? Okay. Here, you flip it back. I know, it's a drink punch.
Do a tip.
Skate isn't even there. I was trying to talk to the student.
Wow, don't even give me a kiss.
Oh, sorry. Oh, he's fruit fly. At one point, I waved away the fruit fly, and I think he thought I was waving at him. It could have been why he was making eye contact with me for so long. I was like, what is she doing? There's a fruit fly.
You're special.
No, I've had that so many times at shows before. I remember the one year we went to Sloan. They had like a free show downtown London, and I had those sparkly glasses, but they had no lenses. And the one guy in the band, we were in the front row, and the guy kept staring over and staring and staring and staring, and I'm like, okay, this is getting uncomfortable. Like I want to watch the rest of the band and everything. And I don't want to make eye contact with anybody. This is weird. So I look at him and I put my finger through the lens because there's nothing there, and like, and he just burst out laughing. I was like,
You're a weirdo.
but yeah, I think that's what he was looking for. He's like, do those have lenses? No, they're fake. Fully fake.
It's so. I'm not complaining, but when you're solo acting, I don't have a roadie or anything like that. I gotta just sit there and whatever. But it reminds me of the story. Tom Waits was friends with Keith Richards, and Keith was in Manhattan, and Tom said, "Do you want to come over and jam?" And of course, yeah. So Keith came over, and he arrived at his place in Greenwich Village, not a huge apartment, with a massive truck full of 100 guitars, a guitar tech, and a guitar valet. A valet? I would kill for that. Absolutely kill for that. Well, that story went over like a fucking lead balloon. Okay. Actually, Keith Richards, Tom Waits your daddy see you got some honey, keep on waiting me, my mama staying out all night long. Yeah, you must be young, son. The woman gonna treat you wrong. You gonna jack the diamonds cold. Yeah, put the queen of spades. Come on now, Spenny. Get on that creeping way. Come on around now. Get on out. You must be young, son. I wanna treat you wrong.
You knew that was coming. Tipsy.
Yeah, I was going to speeches.
It's not in there. It was trying to get in there.
And the sweetest honey ain't coming from the bees. My mama won't now. Get out now. Yeah, you must be young, son. If I won't treat you wrong.